Today's show is also brought to you by Organifi, the best tasting green blend on the market. They're cold processed, guys, to retain all of the nutrients. And if you're looking to fill all the nutritional gaps and buffer out that new stress that your body has to deal with on a daily basis, check out Organifi.com. That's Organifi.com and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% on your order. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the extra Bayesian sensation today, Mr. Carl Phillips.
Hey, just a little extra,
I think he is sensational today.
Yeah.
He gonna say something sensational today.
I got to.
And Dr. Thomas, what's going on, y'all?
I can't call it.
I'm a little hurt, I'm not even gonna lie. If you hear seagulls and ocean and all kind of stuff, don't readjust your radios. They are doing this podcast live from the ocean while I'm sitting in my basement at the crib. And so I'm a little hurt, so I don't want to know nothing about your trip. Let's just jump into the topic of the day. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, y'all? Tell me about Barbados. Of course, I missed the trip because I got kids, and shout out to my mom who loves her job more than her grandkids. So we're stuck here. How is it, fellas?
Oh man, so I've made it my bucket list thing that I need to do this more often. At least my goal is once a quarter. That's my bucket list. Once a quarter, I need to get somewhere and sit my butt down and just let go, man. But I can't explain it to you. You've been around, you travel, but I'm talking about you just literally open your window and you just see. I'll just post some pics, y'all. I ain't trying to be funny. Like seriously, I can't.
Post the pics, Carl.
Yeah, I can't explain this to y'all, man. But it's just like you open your window and it's just the ocean out in front of you. And we at the Hilton here in Barbados, and they did a phenomenal job. They got like one of the infinity pools right here, just like outside the window of the room, and that flows down into a kiddie pool, then another pool with a little bridge and the volleyball and all that. They got the little bar out there. Now, we ain't been messing with the bar. We'll still keep that. We'll still keep it clean. But no, man, it's just, you just wake up and hey, let me give y'all the weirdest part. Like the day is like almost 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It ain't no late sunsets like all year. So for us, it's been weird adjusting. Like you literally have no issues getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning because the sun is starting to creep up. Early, it's starting to get warm, but yeah, people are up early. And that day is done at 6 p.m. I'm talking about it's nighttime at 6 p.m. So you look outside, you can't even see the ocean no more. But man, it's just gorgeous, man. Y'all can hear the birds out here, everything green, man. Yeah, I could go on and on and on. Hey, but this is unfair.
No, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? That's enough. That's just enough.
Hey,
quite
it's
enough.
Unfair.
Thank you, sir.
I'm at home, so it's unfair. I gotta let E, for the first time visitor, give y'all a little bit of that description.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's just to see, what I'm saying, where we've come. I'm excited about this gig in Detroit on the 24th. And let me just tell you why. See, like when I got here, of course we did Miami. I'm saying? We were in Miami, blessed to, not only do a conference there, but, stay there. Your family was there, C, Didi and I were there. Of course, my kids are here. I was watching Jordan yesterday on the beach do his thing, and Jesse in the water. And so, Didi faced one of her greatest fears. Like, Didi don't know how to swim. You know what I'm saying? We city, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's chlorine. She didn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? But she got out there on the
jet ski boy
yesterday, and went out, in the deep blue, And so for me, man, it's just I want to teach people. To move past accomplishment to freedom, see? You know what I'm saying? There's people who accomplish. You know what I'm saying? They making, a little money. They got a profession. You know what I'm saying? They got degrees, but they're not free, And what we're experiencing right now is freedom, And like I said, man, I'm in my 40s. I'm 46. So, my parents didn't get an opportunity to retire this soon. And so somebody said to me, E, enjoy your vacation in Barbados. And I was like, yeah, cool, but I live on vacation. I'm not trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? Like based on this empire we've created, I leave here and of course I got to go to New Jersey for one day for that NBA gig, but we're going to go to Chicago because it's Didi's birthday week. So we're going to Chicago, we're going to Charlotte, you know what I'm saying? So when I come off of this, you know what I'm saying, I'm going back, you know what I'm saying? So, and then of course, we're going to be together. Jalen will be with me with the NBA gig. And so, man, I just want to teach people, like, for real, like, yep, accomplish is great, but what we going for is freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going for being on the beach and not, you know how you might go on a trip with a corporate trip and you might get to go on the ocean and you calling your wife, telling her about it, or you FaceTiming her. Like, yo, it's a great feeling not to have to FaceTime my wife, FaceTime my kids. They in the same suite we in, you know. So we eating dinner with Chuck, you know, and Jamie, you know what I'm saying? Laughing, acting silly, Crystal and Calvin, you know, and so we roll deep, man. So yeah, I can't believe it, see. We started this journey 10 years ago, and you know, like I said, I know I had been doing it a little bit before I met you guys, but 10 years is not a long time to create an empire. You know, it's absolutely incredible, man.
So y'all want to talk about how much my presence is missed, or?
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for y'all. One of y'all was gonna be like, "Look, it just ain't the same without C."
Yeah, it's your podcast. We can take it whichever direction you want to take it in.
You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for somebody to be like, "Man, the weather's great, the fellowship is great, but you know, without C, it's a dynamic miss."
Me and Carl had to do that in the States. We already came to that resolve.
Right.
In the States, we let it all go and got on the plane. It was like, whatever you do, let's not talk about how much we miss C. So that was a given. For those who follow the podcast, they know that was a given.
Well, you know, the listeners, they're not as cued in, so I wanted to make sure, you know what I'm saying? They understood that y'all were missing.
No questions asked. Matter of fact, it was difficult to work out this morning without you. I went to the workout spot and was like, oh yeah, C would normally be in here grinding with me. So yeah. Let me go pour some water in the ocean for you real quick.
I did. I poured out a smidget of my pina colada for you yesterday.
I bet.
Just a little bit of the pina colada.
God.
I got.
Oh, no doubt. I feel much better then.
It's I'm not going to say goodbye to
what we had. Yep. And unfortunately, yep. Shout out to Helene. Wow, Helene. You know what I'm saying? Real quick though, let's jump back to Miami, man, because what a phenomenal experience Miami was. Of course, we had the marriage conference. I still don't know whose idea it was to do the marriage conference on South Beach. That's a different kind of feel, but we pulled it off anyway.
Somebody who not married. It was somebody who wasn't married's idea.
Hey, I'm talking about bruh, before I go there, fair foul. I'm on the beach yesterday with Trey. We just chilling, doing our thing, and somebody, I think they thought it was, we were in France or something.
Carnival. They thought it was Carnival.
I was like, wait a minute. I said, hold up now. I got my little man right here, and I got my wife, and baby girl was like, yo, I'm straight on all that. I'm trying to tan these out.
Wow.
So, I was like, okay,
Trey got the nudie tunes, not the Looney Tunes.
Right, exactly. Shout out to the new beach, but no, man, the marriage conference was incredible,
which is why
man.
I always stay in Fort Lauderdale. Which is why
Oh, we thought it was just because you wanted to stay at the Ritz-Carlton.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was at the Ritz-Carlton. He was way too Hollywood for us. So
what he was doing was he is protecting his relationship. he not playing them games. He is in Fort Lauderdale with the old retirees. You know what I'm saying? And worst case, grandma outside Teddy. That's about it.
No doubt. But yeah, man. So shout out to everybody who came though. What an amazing time it was. Willie just did an amazing job, Quest, and of course E brought it. Just an incredible vibe, man. And for those of you who came out to the event, man, we appreciate y'all big time. And I wanted to give a special shout out to the W Hotel. Of course, my family, we extended our stay a couple days. To kind of hang out on the beach and the whole nine. But the W Hotel on South Beach, man, let me just say this, and they not sponsoring this, but they did an incredible job taking care of my family and I. Just from the time we got there, guys, to the time we left, I mean, they were on point with everything. They knew Trey and Avery's name by the second day, y'all. Like, they were calling Trey by name. And so I know we always give people a hard time when we go somewhere and we get bad service or people not interested in doing their jobs correctly. But the W Hotel, man, I'm talking about next level, guys. We ordered a pizza one night. Why did the security from the hotel walk the pizza man up to the door? I mean, like, knocked on the door, was like, Mr. Quinney, you got a pizza delivery, everything okay? I'm like, wow, I felt like, yo, am I in the president or something? It was crazy. So just the level of customer service that they showed, the room that we had the event in was beautiful. The audio, everything was phenomenal about our stay there. The pool, the grounds were amazing. Just being outside, by the pool, they took great care of my family, man. So I want a big shout out to them. And also, Carl, you didn't get a chance to come, but we went to Mr. Child's, and he'll tell you they took great care of us in there as well. And I want to shout out the guy who, you remember the waiter's name, E?
You mean from Child?
Yeah, from Mr. Child's, yeah.
Yeah, I'll look him
I
up.
can't remember his name, but hopefully he listens to the podcast. He knows what I'm talking about. My man was phenomenal. And let me just tell you, Carl, let me tell you what my man said. We were in there. It was my first time eating at Mr. Child's. The food was really good. But my man said, yo, Mr. Child, who is, the originator, curator, creator of Mr. Child's, of course, said that, he wanted his diners to have an experience. And so he said that the restaurant was the theater and the table was the stage and the lights from the candles should always shine on your guests.
Wow.
And so they put together a whole spread. Tell me why, Carl, we didn't order anything. My man was just like, yo, what do y'all like? I'll take care of you. And just literally shut it down the whole night, man. Had a great night after the conference. So shout out to them, man, for doing a great job. And the W Hotel. I know we always complain about how people, don't take pride in their job, but this was a phenomenal weekend for my family and I, and hopefully you guys as well. So shout out to them. I want to.
Danielle Hargrove. See, Danielle. Yep, his name is Danielle.
Okay, good. Yep, and of course, man, shout out to him. He was, a big supporter of Ease, which was great. And so we got a chance. Oh, and then, man, my man John, shout out to him too at the W Hotel. It's always funny, I'm in the elevator and a gentleman named John who was helping me bring all the bags and strollers and everything else up to the room. We're on the elevator and he was like, oh, what brings you guys in town? Work or, pleasure? I was like, oh, a little bit of both. And he was like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, well, I own a consulting company and I'm just trying to keep it low key because I hate to be like, oh, well, Eric Thomas. I don't like doing that. So I was like, he's like, oh, what type of consultant? I was like, oh, speaking. And he was like, oh, who do you speak with? I was like, well, I don't speak, but, my partner speaks and da-da-da-da. He's like, oh, okay, who is he? I'm like, all right, now I got to say it, right? And so I was like, a gentleman by the name of Eric Thomas. Yo, my man jaw hit the ground, and I promise you, like, he was almost in tears. And he was like, yo, are you serious? And he started talking about the fact that, yo, when he was at his lowest point, he was watching E. And so anyway, I invited him out to the show, but I guess their policy is they're not allowed to go. Like if you're not working, you have to be off the grounds and you can't come to events. I guess they don't want people like, staff or employees bum rushing, celebrities or events or anything like that. So he texted me because I gave him my number. He said, yo, I can't come, but just thank you anyway for the invite. So we happened to be walking out of the event. And who do we see right there? So we got a chance to, I got a chance to introduce him to E, man, and he was super grateful. They took some pics. I sent him some pics. And so shout out to him, man, for just, being a great, great dude, man. And that was a big moment for him. And my man was in tears the whole night.
Yeah, no doubt.
E is making dreams become realities one day at a time.
One day at a time.
New tagline.
La, 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 la. One day at a time.
Yeah, no doubt. So, real quick, man, I wanted to jump into something, E, that you said at the conference. And people always think when me and Carl say, oh, E, best speech ever. He said something I never heard him say. But you said something I never heard you say. And I want to quickly get into it because I think it was, super important and it hit me. And I think it was in the VIP session, Carl. We were talking about, our spouses, of course, and how, you know, we always got this one weakness that our spouses constantly on us about, right?
Yeah.
And so the guy, he asked a fair question.
Yeah, fair,
you know, he was in there
absolutely,
with
yeah.
his wife, and he was like, yo, E.T., he was like, yo, I think I'm 99%. You know, I got one or two things that I'm still working on that haven't gotten to that next level. But I'm 99%, E, but all she wants to do is harp on the 1%. And I was like, yo, I feel my man, right? I'm sitting there like, yo, okay, I got you. Like, you know what I mean? She should be optimistic. Like, you got 99%. And E said something that rocked my world. E, you told him, and I'll let you expand on it, but you told him it was the hack-a-shaq theory. And basically the way you explained it was, you can be this dynamite, you know, dude, you can be all of these things, you can be great, but at the end of the day, if you got that one weakness, somebody can always just foul you, right? At that exact weakness, exploit that one weakness. So for those of you who don't know what hack-a-shaq is, and they got it, you know, now everybody's doing it, but Shaquille O'Neal, when he was playing, he couldn't shoot free throws very well. So he could dunk on you, he could do everything, you know, overpower you, hit the baby hook. But if you fouled him and made him go to the free throw line, he couldn't make his free throws. And so they called it hack-a-shaq, because you would literally foul Shaq so that he could shoot free throws instead of dunking on you, because the dunking was 2 guaranteed points. He may or may not make a free throw.
High probability.
And so you talked about exploiting a weakness. And if you got this one area in your life that you still haven't overcome, that you still struggle with, they're going to keep fouling you in that one area, and it's going to prevent you from going to that next level. So, E, I know I just kind of set the table, but can you break that down? And because it is frustrating, right? You do, you know, have all these things that you're great at, but you have this one thing that somebody may be, you know, constantly pointing out. Talk to us about that, and then talk to us how to get over that 1%. And then what was that 1% for you? Because I know we talked about it a little bit, but you actually had a hack-a-shaq in your own life.
I'm sure I have, according to my wife, several hack-a-shaqs. Several. But she only had time to mention one. But I will say this though, C, because this is a podcast about greatness. You know, we've established that. You know, when you go to the description of it, you know, in the description, it really talks about, you know, going from good to great. And so, you know, C said it, but I want to make sure that we're clear on the difference between the levels, average, good, great, phenomenal, is really a mindset. You know, so when you are an individual that says like, yo, I've done 90% well, what's going on? Like, why is she tripping? Well, you would fall in the category of good, and you are doing a very good job. But greatness is a mindset. Greatness doesn't look at the score and say, oh, look at me, look at what I'm accomplishing, look at what I've done. And look, let me tell you something. If you're very good at what you do, you have the right, you know, you have the right to display good. But greatness is about what else can I do? You know, what more can I do to bring the absolute best? And there was a TGIM I did years ago, guys, about toothpaste. And I talked about how my aunt literally had a toothpaste squeeze apparatus. Like, I don't even know what the name of that foolishness was. But like, you literally had to put it on the end of the toothpaste, and you would turn it and squeeze it, because my aunt wanted every single ounce of that toothpaste to come out before you use a brand new one. And so you see people in life who use soap, and for real, some people will get to soap and they'll just stop and just throw it away because it's too small. I know where my aunt got it from. My grandma would make us take all the small soaps, Carl, and put the small soaps together and make a big soap.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so my
Genius.
grandmother was like,
Genius.
Yeah. Your mom did it too, see?
Never, but I love that. I never heard that concept till now. I just thought it was genius.
Yeah, my grandma was on beast mode with that. And so I'm saying, I watched my aunt do it, I watched my grandma do it, and so in my own personal life, see, I'm like, yo, greatness is not saying, man, look at all the good. It's like squeezing every fiber, every ounce out of yourself. So I just want to add to what CJ said. It's like, yo, when you get to a point of great, you're not tripping on, well, they didn't see the 90. They only focus on the 10. Only the 10 matters, because it is that 10% that you're not doing that's going to add to zero. It is the 10% that's going to take you from accomplished to freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is that 10% that is going to give you legendary status. So I just want to say to those of you who are listening, again, it is a mindset. And why do I keep harping on that? Because with a mindset doesn't require, like I had to go in the gym today to lose the gut. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to get on the treadmill. I got to run fast. I'm going 8.59. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a lot of work to do to lose the gut. But to go to great, you don't have to do anything but change your mindset. Like it's no sweat involved. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not excruciating pain. Like it's nothing. It's just saying I need to think differently. So when Dee Dee said that, she was talking about quality time, you know, and I'm grateful because she didn't say we didn't spend any time together. So that's what a victim does. what a victim does is say, a victim is focusing on, she said we don't have any quality. No, she didn't say we didn't spend time together. She didn't say that I'm not with her throughout the course of the day. She just said now she wants to take it to focus time. So I'm grateful because there used to be a time when she's like, he just work. All he do is work. Now is we spend time together, but it's not focus time. So it's like, okay, cool. Let me work on that. And let me tell you what I did, guys. Where your energy goes. Look, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. I just sat there and said, yo, E, you're gonna have to get better. Like, how can you focus more? And as soon as I got on that plane, y'all, the Lord brought to me my mom. And he said, when you with your mom, it's always focus time. Like when you with your mom, you're never on the phone. You're never doing like business meetings. Like you give your mom like your undivided, you don't go outside and talk on the phone and come back inside. And he said, you know why? Because you see it as scarce. One, she's getting older. Two, you don't talk to her every day. And so you might be at her house once or twice a month at best. And so when you're there, you're thinking, all right, cool. I don't have a lot of time with my mom, no distraction. But the problem with Dee Dee is you're with her every day. So your mindset is telling you, oh, I can talk to her later. Or we can do this tomorrow. Or we're gonna be on the road together. I can spend time with her then. I can't always work. And so I realized I have to treat my time with Dee Dee as I treat my time with my mom and say, E, it's sacred. You don't know how, it's not guaranteed she's gonna be with you next week. It's not guaranteed that y'all gonna be together tomorrow. You have now with Dee Dee, and you need to take advantage of that. So absolutely see hack-a-shaq, quality time, but we're about to make that change. And Dee Dee and I talk, and see, man, I can't win for losing. I don't know if it's just my wife, if it's women in general, but this is what I said to Dee Dee. I said, yo, Dee, I'm ready to do the quality time. Do you think we should do it in the morning? You think like maybe 8 to 12? Should we do it like, should we just spend time together at night?
When would you like your time to be quality? Because the rest of it's going to be terrible.
I didn't know. See, you know what she says? Quality time, it has to be organic. So I'm screwed again, see? Because I don't even know what quality time is. I can't even get a measurement on it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to structure my quality time from 8 to 9.
Oh, man.
Because from 10 to 12, you about to get some non-quality.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted some parameters,
time.
bro.
You
That's
about to
all.
get some off-brand.
Ask this, see, my question is, and you just kind of started on it, but why is it so easy for us to get complacent with stuff?
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I was thinking about that while we were at the conference, Carl, because I was talking to John. Shout out to Big John and Game Changers, and shout out to him and his wife who brought us a loaf of it was like chocolate chip banana nut bread something. I'm talking, y'all missed it, y'all were gone, but he brought it to us yesterday at the hotel. Incredible. Yeah, shout out to them for setting me all the way off this diet. But no, it was amazing for real. But you know what? He's from Miami, right? And so he came to the hotel or whatever, and you know, we were right there on the beach, and I'm like, man, how can you be from here? Like, you know what I mean? And Carl, you've talked about it before as well. I'm like, yo, it's so beautiful. You know, you got the palm trees everywhere, you got the sun. And he was like, man, we just get used to it. And I was like, you know, it's not even a big deal anymore. And I was like, wow. I was like, yo, because we come from Michigan and I'm coming from Atlanta now, to see palm trees and this kind of weather and the beach and stuff like that, you know, you just appreciate it so much more. But when you're there, you get complacent. Now, the crazy thing about it is, it doesn't mean the beach is any less beautiful. You know, the beach is just as beautiful. You just get complacent. And Carl, you talked about it before, being from Barbados. I always tease you and laugh and say, like, yo, what are you doing in the States? Like, you skip the middleman and live in the retirement zone. So you can probably speak to that more than anybody of how, you do get complacent and it's not that, that new toy, right? That, Carl, we buy our kids toys and for the first 2 days, it's all they can think about. And then it's buried,
Then the third day
and
they
you
playing
haven't
with
seen
the
it in
box,
6
see?
months.
They playing with the box on the third day and the receipt on the fourth.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'll share. Tamisha and I joke all the time. Like we'll ask like our relatives, like, man, when's the last time y'all hit the beach? And the exact same thing. See, oh man, I don't think I went this year at all. I'm like, you right here and did not go to the beach for the year? And I'll be honest, see, I never had that issue. And I'll just be real. Like I was that kid that enjoyed it. My parents, any free day, ain't nothing going on. Like, yo, I'm jumping on my bike. The beach ain't but like 15 minutes, from anywhere. But I think what happens is, and funny you turned the question on me because I'm asking y'all, but honestly, it's just what you said. Like at the end of the day, you're looking at this thing as though it's there forever. And at any moment, you could go get
forever.
it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the big issue.
That's it.
At any moment that I want to, it's always going to be there.
Scarcity.
Right, it's not scarce no more. So I think that's the big problem. And like E's saying, the greatness thing is, and thanks E, because you helping me, the thing is to shift the mindset. Like I wasn't playing when I said I want to do this once a quarter now. Like I'm not playing. Like if I could get that in my mind and say like, yo, I want to do this once a quarter. We got Michigan's like 8 months of doggone cold weather. Like that, who said that we got to be there for 8 months? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you get used to this thing. Like I'm walking around, not to be thing, but one of the things that hurts me on every vacation is you look at the people that's working there and they don't look like they're enjoying it at all. See, like you can see that they're literally like, just like, let me just do this and get up out of here. I'm like, yo, you working, I get that. But you still got the opportunity to be here looking around, and how do you not appreciate this? But it just boils down to like, man, it's gonna be there tomorrow, it's gonna be there the next day, and I promise y'all, there's some people marriages that's not there the next day, some people kids that's not there the next day, some people's lives that's not there the next day. So like you just gotta be for real.
Get this podcast,
and
y'all.
I'm just saying you gotta be for real and start telling yourself this may not be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
It may not be here tomorrow at all. And I promise you wake up with that and you treating your wife a whole different way.
I'm saying, Carl, with that mindset, even if it's there tomorrow, even if your marriage is there tomorrow, it's not there.
Right.
Because what you just said, you working. And there's some people working on their marriage and not enjoying it. Like they're not enjoying it no more. It didn't went from whatever they was doing before in the honeymoon stage to now.
Now I gotta do this.
Now you gotta do this, and she ain't that, and he ain't this, and he ain't that, and you didn't switch it to work. I wanted to ask Carl a question though, C, and I wasn't gonna ask him on the podcast, but I'm gonna ask him on the podcast, C. And I really want you to think about this, Carl. You have lived here. This next level, this greatness question, y'all. Next level.
I'm
you
nervous.
lived here your whole life, right? What is it like coming back home, but staying at a resort? You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like this where you from. But I'm sure when you were here, you didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? What is it like coming back home? And I know some people probably think you big time. You know, why you not at the house that you lived at, or why you ain't on the block that you grew up? Like, yo, because we not from here, and I see people looking at us like, oh man, you know, whatever. But I'm like, yo, Carl from here, so my man trying to, you know, get me on the jet skis and trying to charge me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, my man from here. Like, he went to school up the street. Tamisha from here, she went to school up the street. What is it like, Carl, living in a resort from the place that you from?
So in simple, I told Tamisha last night, because the plan is, see, that we were going to spend a week here while everybody else is here. And we stay a couple extra days longer, and I'll go back and stay with my family and stuff. And I told Tamisha last night, I'm not sure we're going to go back. Let me just be real. I'm not sure. I'll find out, you know, a couple of days to go visit my family and stuff, but I'm like, yo, I'm not sure I can. Like, I don't know that I can go back. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, that's deep.
Let me put it like that.
Come
I
on,
don't know
C,
that I can go back.
Woo!
Because I'm just saying, you exposed. See, let me put it like this. The only beefing I
this
got
Carl
into with my son on this whole trip
I don't
is
think you understand the importance of this is Carl talking.
I told you he was going to be sensational. I told you he was going to be sensational.
Hey, I'm watching my son yesterday on the beach. Like, I'm talking about, like, no exaggeration, see, for probably about 4 hours. Like, I ain't even talked to my man. Like, he on the beach for 4 hours with another little kid out there playing. One of my homegirls, like, Tamisha and I best friends. She got a son that's like 8. So she just dropped my man off, and he and Jordan played, bro. They were in the pool for about 2 hours, left the pool and ran over to the beach, playing in the sand for about 3-4 hours. Then my man came back, rinsed off, and went back in the pool. He was in the water, like, playing for about 6 hours total yesterday. I ain't had no conversations with my man. I'm like, yo, my kids can have this opportunity. My wife can sit here, and we the way they got it is some rocks that kind of stick out in the water. We out there taking photos. Bruh, I'm gonna leave here and go sit at my house and watch TV. Are you kidding me? I don't know that I can. I was telling somebody yesterday, like, yo, you take one of them balloons and blow it up, like almost to capacity, not busting it, but when it comes back down, it's not the same size no more. So you can't put this kind of information into your brain, into your eyes, into your ears. You get all that and then go back. It's not the same size no more. I can't go back to that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I said once a quarter. Y'all hold me to it. But once a quarter.
Hey, see, I want to say this real quick for all our listeners. I'm from Detroit, west side of Detroit, high school dropout, abandoned buildings. Carl, right here from Barbados. C's from Lansing, Michigan. For those of you who don't know, home of GM. I just want you to hear what we're saying. Started from the bottom, right? And when I say bottom, wherever our bottom was, it's not, the top we on right now, this is not where we started. So if you're listening, this is not about us. This is about the blueprint to get you from where you are to where you dream of being, because we are where we dreamed of being.
Yeah, no question. And I want to get back real quick to the hack-a-shaq thing, E, because I want to make sure we help those individuals, and myself and everybody else who's still working on stuff. When you identify that one thing, right? So you talked about the 90%, 95%, and I'm with you. You know, you can get that, it can get exploited if you're not, constantly working on it. But how do you identify it, and then how do you practically work on it? Like for you, you talked about, before in the podcast, you had that anger thing that was like once every 8 months would just jump on you and murder you out. How do you identify it, and then how do you go and work on it? Because Shaq had a weakness in free throws for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he just was like, all right, cool, this is what I want to be weak at. Like, there was a reason. I don't know if his hands were too big, if the ball was too small, like something was going wrong. And so how do you identify it, one, and then what do you do to overcome it?
So if you're asking me, see, I think that, as juvenile as this may seem, I don't think that you do know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about, and this is where you are when you are in a state of good. There were so many things that I was doing good that I didn't even know, see that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know nothing was wrong with once every 8 months. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know when I went off that was wrong. I didn't. I'm like, yo, my man did X, Y, and Z to me. This is the general response. Like, this is how you respond. So I had a situation in Miami. I didn't even want to interrupt you. You were still at Mr. Child, enjoying your meal with your family. So I didn't say nothing to you. But I go out, and first and foremost, we parked the car, VIP, whatever they call that. We parked the car, and valet boy, and so they. A young lady told me $25. See, now I'm not stupid. I'm like, I know Kendall a grown man. Now it'd be one thing if, no disrespect to Jamal or Jalen, they parked my car, I owe $25, see, but it's Kendall a grown man. So I already know he paid for it. So she's about to charge me $25, see, and I'm like, okay, look, let me call my guy. So I call my guy, see, Kendall, and I have him on speaker. He say, I already paid. And then she says, oh, yeah, you did pay. I'm like, okay, all right. What, you didn't, I'm confused. You didn't know that he paid, but then when he gets on the phone and said he paid, he didn't show you a ticket, and then you like, oh, yeah, he paid. No, okay.
I take back everything I said about the W.
But that's not the W, see, that's not the W, that's the valet, they not.
Oh, the valet at the W.
But don't even let me get started with you having a vision as an owner, and then the levels that go down, how it gets diluted. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. From the top, by the time you get to the bottom, which is the valet, they don't know nothing about your little vision and your little mission and your little dream.
Like, look, let me get that 25.
So she says, all right, whatever. So they bring my car seat after 20 minutes. So it takes 20 minutes. Now, in the 15th minute, my man
Wow, on the VIP? How long would it take if you wasn't VIP?
bro, at this point, I'm hurt. And it had an.
This must have been the B team, because my valet was sweet.
And it was, because it was late at night. So, when we finished, it was almost 10:15. So they got the B squad or the squad, A squad got
That's
tired.
like, E was like, it was late at night. It was practically 10.
But the A team got tired because it was 10-something at night. The B team, they was the A that turned B. So now, see, 15 minutes in, my man like, let me go get your car. So like I said, I'm taking it a little bit personal. Didi got MS. The humidity doesn't work for her. So it's hot.
Right.
So it don't got nothing to do with him. He don't know my girl got MS, but I'm getting a little heated because I'm like, yo, we paid $25 not to have to wait 15 minutes. Now I didn't turn into 20 minutes. See, when he brings me the car, the dude comes out, the manager comes out and takes the keys from my man, take my car hostage and say, you owe us another $19. And I said, what? I owe you another $19? And he was like, yeah, we had to move it. And I said, bruh, I presented, and then we ate in your franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ate in your franchise.
We should have stopped there. We paid enough money for that ballroom to park wherever we should have parked right at the front door.
You understand what I'm saying? So I was pissed. But immediately, see, the difference between this Eric and 6 months ago.
The rebaptized.
Yeah, rebaptized, see. I'm rebaptized, see.
The born again doctor.
You know what I'm saying? So what happens now, see, is the only difference is I'm aware. Look, when you dunking, when you got the sky hook, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about elbowing folks. Shaq is I'm talking about a gorilla. Shaq out there murdering them. When you doing all of that and all you got is a free throw problem, you ain't even really on that like that. And you know what I'm saying? You're not even paying attention. It ain't like you go to the free throw line that often, and when you do, it's an and one. So if you missed it, who cares? You put up 2. And so I think for me, see, with all the other things that I have been doing, I had a mindset that I didn't even realize that was bad. And so just the realization that, yo, this ain't the right way to go about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I just stopped and I called Kendall and said, Kendall, I just finished doing the conference. I don't want, people to see me in a negative light. Can you come down and handle this for me, please? Now, mind you, Didi's saying it's only $19. And I'm like, yo, this don't got nothing to do with $19. We just spent thousands of dollars in the ballroom. Like, you take care of a person who spent, that's like if somebody who comes to our conferences and they come to every one and they MBU and they say, I want a hat. I don't say the white ones ain't for sale. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them that. We don't sell the white ones. I'm the only one wear the white ones. No. I'm gonna ship you a white one, or I got an extra one upstairs. Let me go get it to you and give it to you. So man, I'm telling you, I was really hurt. See, not only the ballroom, Mr. Chow is very expensive. I felt like if you go to that restaurant, you should just
I'm
get
talking about very. Thanks for leaving me with the bill.
Bro, no problem. I thought that's the least I could do. You wasn't coming to Barbados, so I thought this was a party gift. You know what I'm saying? This was a party. I was hurt, But I'm just sitting there saying the difference between the two Erics is one is aware now. And then once you become aware, I don't think it's an issue, see, of not having power. I think as humans, we have the power to change. I think the problem with most of us is we don't know.
I don't think you're saying it right, though, because you were aware that you would go off from time to time. You knew you would. I don't think that you were aware that you needed to fix it.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Like, I don't even think I was aware that it was a problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And let me tell y'all what I mean by this. I need y'all to really hear what I'm about to tell you. Listen to me very closely. Most of you know that I'm trying to eat a little differently for Didi. Listen to me very carefully. I was in the Miami airport. Do you know how easy it was? It was a Cuban restaurant. It was a Jamaican restaurant. Bruh, you know how easy it was for me to get vegetables and rice and beans? I need y'all to hear me. Don't listen to what I'm telling you. Because I was in that culture, it was so, like, do you understand when I was in Huntsville Airport? The other day I was in Huntsville Airport, I didn't even get to eat. All they had was ice cream, Subways. Like, they didn't have a Cuban restaurant. Because we were in Huntsville. They didn't have a Jamaican restaurant there. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They didn't have a Caribbean restaurant in the airport. I'm trying to tell y'all, I grew up in Detroit, where culturally that was accepted. Like, that was, not only was it accepted, it was a part of, like, there is this, in the East Coast, there is this aggressiveness that is not only taught, but Carl, is celebrated.
I said,
It's
yeah.
celebrated. It is expected that when somebody charge you 25 and then they charge you 19 and you didn't spend all this money, you are actually considered weak
if you don't go off.
And so, see, what happened was, though, what I didn't realize, see, is that I was no longer in Detroit. Now, come on, y'all got to hear me because you know I'm still in the D. But what I'm telling you is I'm no longer in Detroit. I no longer live in that world anymore. Even though I'm physically in Detroit from time to time, I do not live in that world anymore. I'm on the ocean, y'all. I'm in a suite in a resort. I don't live that life no more. And so I can't respond in the way. And what I'm telling y'all is a lot of y'all are like the old Eric Thomas. Your culture is dictating what you do, and you don't even dictate it and don't even know it. And that's the scary part. You on cruise control. You are your culture, and you don't even realize that there's some things, some rules have changed, some language has changed, some code has changed. You in a different world. And so I just want to say, see, like, yo, in Detroit, I was affirmed when I would go off. As a matter of fact, there would be people who wouldn't, let's just say 50% of the people that were there would leave me alone just because, like, when you even look at how I speak, my whole swag, that's a Midwest swag. That's not a California swag. That's not necessarily a Miami swag. That's not a San Diego swag. You know what I'm saying? That's a Detroit blue collar, you know, that aggression. And so I had to realize, like, yo, E, not only is it not accepted anymore, you gotta learn the new rules, the new language, the new code of the world that you're in right now. And you can still, how do I say it? Now see when somebody go off, I write a letter. So the W will be getting a letter. It's a new world. The W will be getting a letter.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And I'm with you. And I think that's big that you were able to identify not only the fact that you needed to change, but the reasons why you were the way you were. And I don't think that's easy for everybody, man. And I want to talk about, for real though, helping people to take that practical step to get over it. And I think that's the hardest part is putting it into play. And so for you, E, you know, with the anger boy and stuff like that, once you figured out, okay, this is a problem, what did you, like, meditation, yoga, like, how do you, because it sounds good to say, but when somebody piss you off, it's still like you feel that itch. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna be real with y'all. It's not that deep. Here's number one. I was losing, see? I was losing. I'm talking about Dee Dee, and at first I didn't get it. I'm like, why is Dee Dee not talking, or why is Jada going through? And it's what you said. It might happen once every 8 months, but it was just such a shock. They was like, yo, this out of character. Like, we just not used to seeing you not being positive. And so what happened was Dee Dee might go 2 days without talking to me. Jada and I, you know, Jada may not talk to me, like, she got to talk to me because she my child, she ain't my wife, but it would be tension. And I'm like, yo, you losing, E, you losing. And so some of you out there, you losing. You're not getting good results on that stuff you're doing, so you need to change it. And so immediately, see, when I realized I was losing, I just had to go to the people who I was losing with and ask them what the problem was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hard. And they would tell me, oh, well, when this happened, you do this. And when this happened, you do this. And so all I had to do was the opposite of it. See, I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was, I don't know, we were still back in Michigan State days when y'all was using the word antithesis. Like, y'all had started using that word. And I'm telling you, it's a whatever kind of word, 50 cent word, but it hit me because it was like, yo, it only means to do the opposite of. Yeah. And so I was saying, yo, E, all you got to do the opposite. You going off. So what's the opposite of going off? Being calm, being patient. You know what I'm saying? Being calm, being patient. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So for me, see, it was just saying, talk to the people who see you going off, ask them, what does it look like? What should it look like? And then I just went back, and was like, okay, E, these are the things you need to do. CJ, hold me accountable. Carl, hold me accountable. Dee Dee, hold me accountable. And then I got an opportunity, because you're going to get tested. I went online, looked up a couple things about, you know, how to manage your anger. And then they test me at the W. You know, and so what I had to do was say, E, walk this through. As he's talking to you, you see yourself rising. You see it. Yeah, I felt like an Atlanta Falcon. Rise, rise. I felt like I was an Atlanta Falcon fan. The Falcons rise. And I could feel it boiling up.
Sure.
And I was like, yo, E, you're at 5. Don't let it get to 6. Don't do what you normally do. And you know what? I might look stupid doing it, but it was E.T., don't say a word. Because if you say one word to him,
too easy
and
to
he
go
says
all in.
something to you,
No, it's too easy.
I'm 120 to the day I die. 120, 120. And so I said, E, don't say nothing to him. And even if Didi says something to you about what you doing or why you so quiet, don't say nothing. And I got in the car and I was like, even though I felt like a punk, I'm just gonna be real, all of Detroit ain't gone yet. Even though I felt weak and felt, man, he kept the car, see? He took the keys and kept the car like, punk, you ain't getting this car until you give me my $19.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, E, just relax.
Silence.
Silence.
Hit you with that Dragonfly Jones. Man, well, I'm glad that you didn't, I take back everything I said about the W. How dare they? I didn't know, but let me tell you something. Like I said, it must have been the B team, because I promise you my squad was phenomenal, man. But I do want to take the time before, I got a fair foul. I want to tell you about a quick situation I had where I almost wanted to go off on my man, but I want to do it in a fair foul. But first of all, let me tell you that this episode, man, is brought to you by PayPal, man. We want to shout out our good friends at PayPal for sponsoring the podcast today. One of our two sponsors for today. PayPal is now sponsoring a $550K offer for our listeners. PayPal understands that running a business is complex and time consuming, and it requires a lot of upfront capital. So boost your cash flow with a $5,000 business loan from PayPal Working Capital. For a limited time only, accept $50,000 in payments with PayPal and get pre-selected for a $5,000 business loan with no credit check or personal guarantee required. All you have to do is follow these 3 basic steps: sign up for PayPal business account and start accepting payments within 60 days. Process at least $50,000 in payments and apply for PayPal Working Capital within the first 240 days. If approved, your funds will automatically be deposited into your PayPal account. For additional terms and conditions, please visit paypal.com/success for more information. Use our promo code /success. So for those of you out there, you're entrepreneurs, you're doing your thing, you're already taking payments from people, man, go out there and use that promo code success and check out that offer they have and get $5,000 working capital for your business. All right, real quick. I had a situation at dinner the other night. Now I'm at dinner, right? And first of all, the service wasn't great, but I was in a good mood, so I wasn't tripping. But we went to this restaurant right there on Lincoln, I believe in Miami, nice little strip of restaurants or whatever, right? So, everybody's moving towards the electronic feel, right? So they didn't actually print out my receipt. They were showing me the receipt on the iPad. So we had been in there for a while, and, the kids had, all kind of, juices, and we had, appetizers and whatever. So my man brings me the screen, like a little iPad, right? And he flows, like, he tries to show me everything. He's like, oh, you had this. And he keeps clicking all the way through, right? So he clicks all the way through until it shows my grand total, and it asks me to tip. And it says, do you want to tip 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, or no tip at all, right? And he puts the iPad in my hands. Now I'm looking at the total like, okay, it's only 4 of us. I got 2 kids. That seemed a little high. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking and I'm like, this don't seem right. So it on the screen now, mind you, it's only asking me, do you want to tip these amounts or do you want to leave no tip at all? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, am I getting hustled? This looked like a setup because this bill seemed high. Is it already included in? So I hit back on the screen. Why'd I go back on the screen to look at my itemized receipt? A 22% gratuity had already been added into the joint, bruh. So now I was, but off nature, I'm just going 20%. I was 2 seconds from clicking 22% or 20% on the tip boy. And I went back and looked, they had already included in. My man didn't say nothing, and he purposely blew past that screen and set me up on the screen where you just choose one of the tip amounts on the box. I flat out clicked no tip and handed my man the iPad back, like, here you go. And I felt like I got hustled. But let me ask you, is that fair or foul of my man to try to hustle me like that? Is that a decent hustle? We always talk about, hey, you got to grind. He didn't lie about it. You know what I mean? He showed me the screen. It was a little fast, quick hand magic. But Is that fair or foul?
Hey, greatness is only a few decisions
That's
away.
it.
My
That's
man
all.
was going for
He
greatness.
was going for, I'm talking about he was going for phenomenal. Nigga heard Jerry.
Bro, my man was about to
22%.
come up on a 42% tip, bro.
Phenomenal.
Hey, and
I'm like, bruh.
I'm sure it worked a couple of times. That's why my man doing that.
Oh, I'm talking, Carl. I'm talking about I was 2 seconds away from pushing 20 and just keeping it moving, and I was like, yo, $100. I'm like, man, I don't, I'm with the shorties. I'm like, this seemed a little high for the kids' chicken tenders. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling a little slighted. So I went back. Sure enough, my man tried to play me. I'm like, wow, unbelievable. But I'm just like, yo, where's the integrity though? Flat out, like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me the gratuity added in. And I don't like when they do that anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me. Especially, okay, now one thing, like we were at Mr. Child's, it's 11, 12 of us. But if I'm with my family, I got 2 kids, me and my wife, like why already include the gratuity in? And Candace was saying it's because Miami's super touristy and a lot of people from Europe, they don't tip over there. So over here, they like, look, we're just gonna have to build your stuff in.
Cut the
but if you
middleman.
know, right, but if you know
But
it's
if you
built
charged
in.
me already,
and-
why you charging me again?
Right, that's what I'm saying. But you might want to leave an additional love offering, if you will. You know what
yeah,
I'm
it
saying? The
sound like
first
the
one's
church.
tied.
Yeah, it
The
sound like
second
the
one was
church.
the offering.
Hey, so what I said for real, OC, and this is something that I'm realizing, and everything we talk about, y'all, it's 1 or 2 little decisions. Man,
Yeah.
you serve people right, and you take care of people. Oh, I'm just being real. I might just mess around and give you more than the tip that you got on the low
Oh, of
gratuity thing
course.
anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take care of us, and I feel like, yo, you made my experience worth it. I'm talking about anywhere. We out here with jet skis yesterday. He ended up giving my man like an extra 30 US. Now, the exchange rate here is like $1 US, $2 Barbados dollars. So my man walked away with like $60 off of just looking out. Like, I'm talking about all our crew was able to hit the jet skis. We had them jokers for like an hour, 3 of them joints. And my man, at first they was tripping, but like they calmed down because Jalen was wilding out a little bit.
I'm talking about wilding out, see.
Jalen got on that joint and was
Wilding out,
wilding
see.
out. My man was like, yo, get your... But literally, my man came back. I'm talking about they took
He was
DD
Nick
out.
Cannon.
They took...
Jalen was Nick Cannon, them, see.
Hey, but literally, you do what you're supposed to do, man, and people are gonna take care of you. Now you got the on-off, the one-off, messed up, cheap person that's gonna be trifling. But I'm saying you take care of people for real, and do what you're supposed to. They're gonna take care of you, man. So you ain't got to do all that. Yeah, no, foul all day, man. Tell my man go work it somewhere else if he gonna be playing like that.
Right, that's what I said. I just felt like, come on, bro. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here with my family. You trying to get over and have me give you a 50% tip. And like I said, Carl, I'm tripping because the service wasn't even great. Bro, we sat down. I'm talking about, it's hot in Miami. And I see why everybody in Miami looking all good. I look good too if it's 130 degrees and you sweating and humidity. I'm like, bro, I walked from the car to the restaurant. I lost about 5 pounds. And so we sit down. Now, mind you, when you got kids, Carl, just can you get them something to drink and a coloring book or something? Like, we sat down. My man, I'm like, I'm not tripping on myself or my wife, but like, yo, come on, man. When you see the kiddos, man, bring some juice over here, bring some water over here, give them a coloring book, something. My man was just looking, and I was like, yo, can you go please get? He was like, oh, sorry about that. I'm like, yo, you got to be observant, because let me tell you something. Traveling with kids. Oh, which, by the way, I didn't even tell that story, Carl. Man, let me tell you. We had a time on the way to Miami. Shout out to anybody who's traveled with more than one toddler at a time in the airport. If you and your spouse have traveled with toddlers in the airport and y'all still married, y'all on track for the long haul, because that is something that will test your whole life, is having 2 toddlers at the airport. But man, we got to the airport. An hour delay, which in itself, when you got toddlers running around the gate,
that's
the
demon drop. I'd rather get on the demon
Exactly.
drop.
Let me tell you something. We get on the plane, the AC not working. So it's hot on the plane, and the AC is blowing like breath air. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even feel like
my
any
breath right now.
Exactly. So we on the plane, right? So finally I get Trey, he's calmed down. They've got to play with the lights, hit the flight attendant button about 1,000 times. So finally Trey sits down, he's watching his stuff. Avery going through it because she ain't had a nap. She's, trying to run all over the plane, holding on. I finally get her sitting down. I like clench her, I'm gonna just hold her. She throws up all over me. It's about 100 degrees on the plane. I got throw up all over my shirt, my pants, everything. My wife trying to wipe me off. Candace wiping down the seats, wiping down the whole nine. Let me tell you something. I was so burnt out when I got to Miami. I was like, Lord, just let me rest. I seen Carl. Carl looked at me. Carl was getting off the elevator. I was getting on the elevator. Carl looked at me like, yo, what's wrong with you?
Are you
I was
good?
like, bro, don't ask. Don't ask. So, yeah, but no.
So what's the moral of the story? Don't have kids. Don't travel with kids. What is the moral of the story here?
No, the moral of the story is, let me tell you something. It's going to be a grind when you're traveling with the babies. Luckily, Avery fell asleep on the plane coming back yesterday. Trey's straight. We got Trey with the iPad and the headphones. He can go into his zone for about 2 hours. He'll be all right. But at Lil Mama, let me tell you something. She is a handful on that plane. But you know what's funny though, Ian? I said it in the
I was just gonna
VIP
call
session.
it out for you. I was like, see, don't just leave me there. You said something
Yeah,
powerful.
no.
with that.
I said it in the VIP session because there was a young lady in there who said, you know, she was having empty nest syndrome because she was taking her, I think it was her only child, her son, to college.
Yeah.
And she was like, yo, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you know what I mean? My baby's gone. And he was telling them to enjoy their marriage. And you know, I was telling her about the story of, you know, Avery throwing up on me and, you know, just the crazy trip into Miami. And I was just like, yo, you know, at the same time, especially after she threw up, I was sitting there and, you know, Candace and I were talking and I was just like, yo, I started to get irritated for 1 second and I realized that it's a season, you know, and you have to enjoy every season that you're in.
That's right.
And so
That's right.
here this lady is, she crying about empty nest. I'm crying about throw up on me. You know, it's two sides of the same coin because, you know, I have to enjoy this season. It's not going to last forever. I'm sure this lady would have been like, man, I give anything to go back to just having my babies and them needing me and hugging me and cuddling me and all of those things. And here I am like, look, I can't wait to 18 years. I get these jokers up out of here. And, you know, now I'm realizing like, yo, see, just enjoy every single season. Like Avery's not going to be 14 months forever. Trey's not going to be 3.5 forever. He's not going to always want to, you know, cuddle you and sit on your lap and, you know, play, you know, little silly games with you. So enjoy this season. And I think a lot of times people, you know, we're always looking forward to the next season. Like I remember when Trey was born, I was like, man, I can't wait till he could talk. I can't wait till he could walk. Now I'm like, would you sit down and shut up? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, so you really do got to enjoy those seasons because before you know it, it's gone and over with. And so while it was a struggle, and shout out to all my parents with toddlers, I hope that, you know, was a nice little pep talk for you to just enjoy the season.
You didn't give us no tips,
forever.
though. Next time you got to give us traveling tips. 7 traveling tips.
Well, I'm not qualified to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Because the number one for Trey starts with sat down somewhere before you catch this thrash. So, but no, I'm not qualified to speak on that. So I will not be giving tips to any other parent. I just say this: grind it out. Whatever you got to do,
No
just
doubt.
grind it out. Yeah, and don't let your marriage take a hit as a result, because that is some of the hardest parenting you will ever do is at an airport.
Hey,
So,
let me give you the flip side real quick, see, because Tamisha and the kids came before me. So they came to Barbados a week ago, and I stayed to do the conference, and they came after. And I'll just give you the progression of the week real quick. First 2 days, oh man, I'm talking to everybody, they geek FaceTime, man. I promise you, by the third day, bruh, Tamisha didn't even answer, like she answered the phone and gave it straight to the kids. Like she didn't even say what up, she didn't say nothing to me. I was like, oh, like the first day, hey baby, like what's up, you good? Like the kids doing this, we did that. Bruh, by the third day, she just was like, here, daddy called. I'm like, oh, I need to hurry up and get down there, because she did it by herself. And she literally said to me, I'm never doing that again. She's like, you don't understand how hard it is. I was like, I do, but I thought you had it. But no, she struggled.
No.
She struggled on her own, bro. She struggled. Them little jokers ain't easy.
Yep. Meanwhile, you on your mancation at the crib eating Cheetos with your feet propped up on the table.
Oh, I didn't get to see his feet because I had to go out of town, so I didn't get to see his feet.
Real quick, man, before we jump into Ask ET, man, we got another sponsor today, man. Shout out to all our sponsors, man, for showing love to this thing, man. And, you know, we've been grinding on this podcast for a minute, man, and the sponsorships, you know, help keep this thing going. So a very important sponsor today, man, Organifi. I want to shout them out, man. They have been sending me some products, man, and I had a chance to use them. And let me tell you something, these things work. And Organifi. So here's the deal. To truly thrive in all areas of your life, you cannot ignore the importance of good health. I've learned this firsthand, and for many of us, time is our most valuable asset. That's why I love Organifi green juice, an organic superfood green juice powder. You just add water to get your greens anytime, anywhere. When you invest in your health, you gain more time because you have more energy and focus throughout the day. The best thing about Organifi green juice is that it actually tastes good. For our listeners, we have a special deal so that you can try it yourself. Use the promo code SUCCESS at Organifi.com. That's Organifi, ORGANIFI.com to receive 20% off your order, guys. Use the code SUCCESS and get 20% off your order at Organifi.com. And let me tell you something, guys. I've been using the greens they sent, and they send a nice little travel pouch. I've been using them for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and I'm using it a couple times a day. I can feel the energy. I'll be honest, I didn't want to, a confessional. From time to time, man, when I'm hurting and I don't feel like drinking coffee, I used to grab an energy drink from time to time, a little small one, right? Don't kill me, all my health nuts. Oh my God, CJ, I know. But I've been using the Organifi green juice for a few weeks now, and I've been using it twice a day, one in the morning and one in the late afternoon. I feel phenomenal. The energy, and for those of you who don't know, you're getting all your greens in this one drink. Sean, who was on the podcast, is the one who recommended it to me. I called him before I started using it just to see how I could gain, maximum, energy and usage from it. Let me tell you something. I've been using it for a while, and it helps tremendously. I made Candace put some in her purse. We took it down to Miami. I cannot live without it. It's super healthy for you, and it does taste good. You think of, green juice, like all the vegetables, it being kind of nasty. It's got a nice taste to it, and more importantly, man, I feel great. Like my energy in the morning at the gym, through the afternoon, I feel phenomenal. I have not even thought about an energy drink, and so shout out to Organifi, our sponsor. Listen, go try it, man. Keep your health a number one priority. Organifi.com. Use the promo code SUCCESS, 20% off your first order. Go order those greens, man, and take your life to the next level. All right,
hold on,
let's jump
before
into
you go
Ask
there,
ET.
Before you go there, guys, I use it as well. I just can't tell you how it's helping me on this particular podcast. I don't want to mention it, how it helps me, but I'm just going
Right.
I won't give you a personal testimony, but I will tell you that that your boy ET, I'm on the Lee Lamb hookup now.
Just say you're regular.
I'm regular.
You can say that.
I'm regular.
You can say you're regular.
Hey, like my speech, if it flows to you, flow to you.
Hey, before we jump into Ask ET, man, shout out to everybody who saw Hard Knocks last night. The HBO show Hard Knocks, for those of you who don't know, it's a really popular NFL show on HBO where they do a documentary style behind the scenes look. And last night's episode featured the one and only Dr. Eric Thomas. And you guys didn't get a chance to see it. I actually stayed up and watched it last night. It came on at 10, as he would say, super late, 10 o'clock. It came on at 10. Of course, it was the last thing, too, y'all. They ended the show with it, and it was powerful. So, and I guess I'll explain it to you guys since you didn't see it. But what happened was Jameis Winston had a bad day of practice, and they showed him, he threw a couple interceptions, and, the coach was on his head, and you could tell he was like, man, shoot. He needed to refocus. And so it cut to a scene where it was like, every morning Jameis Winston wakes up to the sounds of, Eric Thomas or whatever it says. And they show Jameis like waking up at like 5 in the morning. And then they start playing the UOU speech. And they're playing segments of the UOU speech like as he's getting ready, walking out the door, as he's driving to the facility, as he's working out. They're playing the UOU speech. And it's crazy because there's like nothing else in between. Like it's just like, shots of him working out and this dramatic music and then the UOU speech. And it literally, the screen, like he's deadlifting, right? And you could hear E's voice and he's deadlifting and he's like got this intense look on his face and the screen just goes black. So it was dope. Shout out to anybody who got a chance to see it. We'll try to post it on Instagram today. I'll see if Nikki can find a high definition clip to post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But that was dope. Twitter and Instagram and everything start going crazy because Hard Knocks was the #1 trend in the world last night. And so everybody was watching that joint, man, and everybody was geeked up about it. Candace stayed up and watched it with me. I was getting a little nervous because
if you guys can do us a huge favor, everybody's our lawyer now. Every time something go up, everybody calling me, E, did you know today? And Nate, we got to shoot him.
Oh, no doubt.
Shoot the pants off of them. Look, guys, shout out to Winston. Winston, of course, texted me a week ago like, yo, E, is it all right? We going whatever. And then, of course, Hard Knocks got with C and, whatever. Even with Meek, everybody was, whatever. Meek, C got with Atlantic Records. Like, guys, I just want to shout out all of these great, millennials who are, really giving us an opportunity on their platform, to spread this message. But I just want to get all our to-be lawyers, our lawyer students, all our lawyers that's out there that's protecting the brand of ET. Definitely.
Hey, keep telling us too, because a lot of people not calling and asking permission.
Oh, no doubt.
So keep telling us. But yeah, no, shout out to Hard Knocks. That was incredible. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It really was great. And again, man, I'll be honest, guys, my wife, she was like, wow, like, yo, we watched it. Like, here we are watching like HBO, right? Like prime time. And it came on, man. And Candace was like, she was like, I'm really proud of y'all. She was like, I remember, when you came home from New Zealand and you were talking about that speech and then y'all cut it up and you put it out and now it's got millions of views and they're using it on HBO. Like, that's y'all influence. And so I did have a little moment last night.
I got one just, if cool. Candace gave us some pub, I'm having a moment right now.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. That's how it can be hard to come by. With the, she's not a cheerleader for sure, but no.
Make sure you record it in HD so I can show Didi. Might be able to get a little brownie points here on the island.
No doubt. Absolutely. So, shout out to Hard Knocks, man. That was cool. All right, let me jump into this real quick. We got quite a few questions. Let's see. First one is Ben in Iowa. Said, E.T., love you so much, man. Thanks for all you do. I have a question about in-laws. I'm recently married and it's going great except for the fact that my in-laws are extremely overbearing. It irritates me because my wife often listens to their opinions over mine. Any advice on how to back them off?
I'm just going to be real, man. I think a lot of times where we go wrong is that we're always thinking about stuff from our perspective. You got to think about, let's just look at maybe Jalen and Jada, who I've been in their lives. I was fortunate to be in their lives since they were born. So let's just say Jalen gets married at 25, 26, whatever. You're talking about a 26-year relationship, and that person might have dated them for 3-4 years and then married them the 4th, 5th year. You're talking about 5 years versus 20-something years. Like, let's just do the math. You're not going to have all the influence over your spouse when the parents, whatever. Now look at Didi and I. Didi and I went through the same thing with her mom. But I've had over 27 years to prove myself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, with some of Didi's, let's look at Rondell, for instance. I've been with Didi longer than Rondell been born. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when they say that's my cousin, like, I've been in his life since the time he was born. You understand what I'm saying? So there's some things that I don't have to worry about with Didi's mom anymore because I have gained her trust. Been with her daughter 27 years, put her grandkids through school, helped Didi with the MS. When Didi's mom had cancer, I took her to chemotherapy and radiation. I prayed for her before she went into surgery. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, I'm not trying to be funny, but you're asking your wife to not be loyal to people who've been loyal to her for however long. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have been there thick and thin. They were there when she was sick. They took her to her prom. They, helped her get her license, whatever. Like, they've been there all the time. It's going to take time to win their trust. It's gonna take time to win your wife trust. It sounds like he's setting himself up. Don't it, Carl? Like he waiting for Jada to get married so he could play this back and be like, no, I told y'all. No question. No question. See? Hey, we're not playing checkers no more. You know what I'm saying? I sense a little hedging of the bets going on. That boy, he like, of course, sucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no doubt.
Hey, let me add one quick thing. See, I was just gonna say, now You got to tell me from my man's perspective if they're trying to steer the person astray. But like he's saying, yeah, they love this person too. It's not like you only love them, so they're doing from their perspective, or they're saying from their perspective what's the best, you know, in their mind, their experience. So it's not necessarily something wrong. Y'all need to learn to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
And it's gonna take time.
It's gonna take time.
Yeah, it's like Winston again. Shout out to my man Winston. It's like Winston. I remember us connecting his senior year. And I'm just gonna be real, who Winston was his senior year, and I say senior year, not meaning 4 years, but his last year at Florida State, and who that kid is now, like, yo, he a different kid, bro. I mean, we were together at the Cam Newton kickball event, and just talking to him, like, he's bigger, you know what I'm saying, like, taller, bigger, you know, his girl was there, we chopped it up, like, yo, he just way more mature than he was when he was 20? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just being real, bruh. Your marriage is gonna be way more mature 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 6 years from now. And you can't, this is what I always tell my children, and this is no disrespect. Whoever you're dating, you with them every day. You're on the phone with them. You going on trips, whatever you're doing with them. You talking to them. I'm not talking to them. So of course I don't have the same type of relationship you have because I'm not, it's like, you saying I'm cool with C. I talk to C every day. I'm with Carl every day. Yeah, we got a different type of relationship. So that person's parents is not gonna have the same type of relationship with you because they're not doing the stuff that, so as time progresses and you spend time with them for Christmas, you spend time with them for Thanksgiving, you spend time with them, and listen to me. I was thinking about this the other day, C, and I didn't say anything to you about it, but I was thinking about the other day because somebody was like, man, y'all so close. I was like, bro, do you realize the first couple months I started hanging out with CJ, his grandma died, and I was there, I was able to be there for you. You understand what I'm saying, C?
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I'm saying, of course, my relationship with C is gonna be different than somebody else. Bro, I was there when his grandma died. Like, that was a rough time for C. And so while he was there and I remember C not wanting to put stress on his mom. So like, he would come to me and talk to me about certain things, cause like, yo, I don't want to stress my mom out. You know what I'm saying? That's my mom. So I want to be there for her. And it was like, I was there for C. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things y'all gonna have to go through together, bro, before they trust you. You're gonna have to be there in the rain. You're gonna have to be there in the storms. And as you get through those things with them, then that trust for you is gonna grow and you're gonna have a different type of relationship.
Yep, good answer. All right.
I like that. Good answer. C said good answer.
Sean in Grand Rapids said, hey guys, no question. Just wanted to say the negative feedback segment is by far the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. Almost spilled my coffee and ran off the side of the road laughing so hard last week. Keep rocking. Shout out to Sean in Grand Rapids. How come everybody loves the negative comments so much? Why y'all just delighting in our misery? Like, that's just, I got like 5 emails from people saying they love the negative feedback. They want us to do it every week. I told you, my self-esteem can't handle it every week.
Let me tell you something. I'm still questioning my PhD right this second. I had to go back and get my dissertation and pull it down out the closet and wipe the dust off and go through it and look at my theories. You know what I'm saying? I had to check my theories, see?
Oh, Sal man. Sal man. Unbelievable, man. Shout out to Sean. Let's see. Victor in DC.
Praise God, Salmon wasn't in my dissertation.
Hey, E.T., thanks so much for everything you do. My question is about confidence. I feel like my last few failures have killed my self-esteem. I'm still okay financially, but my pride is taking a major hit. I'm finding myself scared to take risks, which is so unlike me. How can I get my swagger back and put losing behind me? Also, what would you consider your greatest professional failure?
Saying Salmon wrong is my greatest professional. That's probably my greatest professional failure. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be my
Hey,
fault.
I told you, that negative feedback get a little sensitive, y'all. You see, we still a little starved now. I've been looking at my bald head all week. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I would say
Carl
though
been
that.
feeling unsensational.
Unsensational the whole
Hey,
week.
but at least Carl bounced back today though. He was
Oh,
sensational
Carl bounced
today.
all the way back. Talking
I'm
about
still
he
saying
bumped,
Salmon. You know what I'm saying?
bumped his hometown. He's staying at the resort.
No questions asked. Carl made that comeback. But I would say this, see, I would say that you are mentally challenged, and I don't want to disrespect you, but you're thinking and stinking because we learn just as much from our failures as we do our success. and there's something wrong with you if you feel like everything you do got to be perfect and you always got to be right. Like, come on, that's not what confidence is about. Confidence is not about doing everything right. Confidence is about being sure of your gifts and your ability and your talent, like knowing this is what I was called to do. This is what I'm passionate about. It don't mean, like, see it tell you every time, like, when I mess up a word, bruh, I'm confident. I'm confident in that joint, and I'm not gonna allow you to say,
I take the salmon,
oh,
please.
bro, I take that personal, see? I take that personal, see? And so I'm just saying, I don't go and look in the mirror and say I said something wrong. We all do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about being perfect, and I think that's the problem. When you want to be a perfectionist, that's the real problem. You need to look at yourself and ask yourself, why aren't you learning from your mistakes? And why aren't you looking at your mistakes as, yo, I can't make a mistake. And this might sound trivial, see, but only the people who try and make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? The people who critique it, they don't make mistakes. Only the person that's doing something. So if you go through the podcast, I'm making mistakes because we got a podcast. Because we got 100,000 people listening. So that's why you could, because
your podcast flawless because you ain't got one.
You ain't got one.
Right.
You get to just sit down
You
and
ain't made
listen
nary
to
a
us.
mistake.
Yeah, hey, nary a mistake. I love it. Hey, you get to just take the pen out and get a pad and just say what we doing wrong. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad
Hey, I'm
at you
gonna stop
for
with
that.
the negative feedback. He getting too sensitive.
Yeah, you need to stop. Yeah, you should have stopped after the first week. So I'm just saying to the young lady.
All you got to do is just write in and she got to play the Taylor Swift.
Don't say nothing to him. See, we're gonna do a TGIM on their behind. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Hey, when I come up with a fire, the next Showtime about to come out with it, fire what I do on my man. But I'm just being honest. You know, being a perfectionist can be sickening because it can stop you from moving forward. Like you always playing this, squirrel game. So look, when I make a mistake, it doesn't say I should go in the mirror and look down on myself. It says, yo, E, be grateful that you're moving, make the correction, change what you need to change. But don't let a mistake hurt you. Make a mistake, make you go back.
Hey, see, I'll say last week, I read a quote that talked about, in the business world, literally, it's only two things. We're talking about business now. It's money and experience. That's it. Money and experience are the only two things that matter.
That's it.
So you just said your money is all right, and I'm going to tell you that you just got some experience.
Great experience.
You just got 3 ways not to do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all heard, what's the Einstein talk about 1,000 ways that he did the light bulb joint. But you just got experience on 3 ways not to do something, bro. So you just got to look at it in a different way. Again, the whole podcast is changing your thinking. You got a different way to look at it now. Like, yo, I just learned 3 new things. You know what I'm saying? Not to do. Learning something to do and not to do is just as important. So yeah, money and experience, man. Just work on both of them.
Yep, love it. Real quick, let's see if we can get one more. Carol in Virginia said, thank you so much for the podcast, guys. I listen on my commute to work and you guys make the time fly. Quick question. What other jobs do you think you would be great at?
Oh.
Busboy at the Olive Garden.
Of course.
Busboy.
You already mastered that.
Hey, and it's funny, Tamisha said yesterday, there was a whole bunch of people going into the restaurant where we were. And she was like, yo, why you standing with your hands back like that? She was like, you acting like you ready to serve. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was, because 1 or 2 of the people that, were serving, you could see that, they weren't necessarily like passionate about it or they weren't loving it. And for real, see, it's anything that you do, whatever Carl does, whatever you do, when you see other people doing what you do, it's only 1 or 2 things. Either you see somebody, Carl, editing, and they produce something and it makes you like go, man, I'm like fired up, like, yo, shoot, my man did something I ain't do, like not competing in a negative sense, Carl, but it gets your juices flowing. Or you see somebody that do what you're doing, Carl, and you like, yo, my man slack.
Terrible.
That's whack. Like, let me get in there and do it. And so I did. I felt like, yo, I want to jump in there and serve, because that's not how you do it. Like, there's a way to do it, and you got to do it with your heart, not just your mind. So yeah, serving tables and being a busboy. Yep. Good morning.
Carl?
Man, of course, y'all know I'm trained in terms of sciences, so I saw myself, let me be real, teaching. Let me go there, teaching. Not that I love it, but I grew up with both my parents as teachers, so like I've always heard like my mom, my dad, everybody would tell me like, yo, Carl, you got like a natural gift for teaching. Like you can get people to understand things. Like you got a way of making things pretty simple for for, for people to understand. So I'd probably end up teaching just based on my experience, man. Hey, but E, you gotta see real quick. E said, you gotta tell C what you said about me being a flamingo.
Hey, I'm sorry. I told Carl yesterday, see, I had to apologize to him, see, because, we did his little assessment, but we really did it from an American standpoint, an American base, right? So I get to Barbados, and we're at the
relatively speaking, Carl's a flamingo, huh?
I'm a flamingo, y'all.
Bruh, I'm looking at some of the people that at the resort. They ain't speaking. So when I got off the plane, I could kind of understand. We walking around, I'm outside, meeting some people. They ain't really saying a whole lot. I'm like, I get it. This the city, Boom, we made one stop. My man picked up some flowers and some people out there. I was waving at them. They ain't saying nothing back. I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So I get to the resort. I'm like, yo, the resort, I know they about to be flamingoed out. People paying all this money, you know what I'm saying? And it's like 50-50. You got some older, seasoned people. They like, what's going on? Some of them, seem like maybe the younger people, whatever, don't want to be here. They not really saying a whole lot. And so I told Carl, I was like, yo, Carl, you a flamingo, my brother. I didn't know. You a flamingo, my brother. Yeah. And you know what's funny, see, this just happened. We're right here at the resort. This just happened, see. And I want to speak to those of you who are trying to go from good to great because it's a mindset.
Listen to E's mic when E was talking, and y'all will hear my man sweeping. Y'all will hear.
My man was a young dude. He can't be no more than 17, 18. He's out here sweeping. I guess see how you would go to Kmart or, Macy's or Walmart. You know how early in the morning they come out with the machines and they're buffing the floors. So he's doing something similar, out here at the resort, getting all the debris up, etc. And so out of nowhere, see, I'm talking about it started pouring down raining. Me and Carl sitting there like trying to weather the storm, and then we was like, nope, we don't want the equipment to get wet. So we go up under the canopy and just drop all the stuff, throw the book bag on it, and me and Carl out here, I mean soaking wet. My man, as soon as the first sign of rain came, my man was gone. Poof! My man was down. He was gone. My man found like a little shelter over there, like it was a tornado. Gone. And my man was gone, bro. And I promise you, it stopped raining, and it might have taken about 5-6 minutes to make sure it was all gone. And I was just laughing though. See, I'm saying here, Carl and I, because we've taken ownership of the podcast, we're not looking for shelter. We're just trying to get the equipment, shelter so that we can make sure that they get this podcast. But yet my man working and getting a check, but he's okay with getting paid and not working, see? He's okay with that. He's okay that he's not doing his job. And let me be real. You can sweep up the debris with the rain.
With the rain.
I promise you can. So for those of you who are listening, when you don't take ownership, you don't even produce the same way. You're not gonna get the same outcomes because the energy is not the same. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't make a difference how much money you're making. Greatness is a mindset. Take ownership of what is yours.
Yeah, no, I love it.
But this
I was gonna say, I forgot what the question
bro.
was. Y'all done got talking about my man sweeping. What would you do? Did I? I think I said this before. I'd be a Sports Center anchor for sure.
I love it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I can see
no
it.
doubt.
I love to sit there and break down.
You and Stephen A.
You and Stephen A. could be hollering. You and Stephen A. could be hollering at each other.
I'll murder Stephen A. Either that or a comedian though, because I always wanted to do comedy when I was younger. I was like, shoot, but shout out to my roommate from college.
Hey, it sounds like you're doing it on this. You got your own stand-up right here on the podcast.
I promise you. Which is why you get so many negative comments. Which is why you get so many negative comments, because I'm on my Martin Luther King Jr. I'm trying to get the Nobel Prize.
I'm on dispatch.
Right. Carl on dispatch, and you come out of nowhere with a grown man gift, jokety joke. That's why some people can't stand see.
You know what's funny? I'm realizing though, there's a disconnect between all the hate mail and when I see people in person. So my problem is when I see people in person, they like, oh, we love the podcast. Keep being funny. And then all the little Scrooge McDucks writing in are like, every time E gets ready to make a phenomenal point, C's got a joke. I'm like, Lord, hey, again, if you want to get your own podcast and be as serious as you like to be, hey, I'm just being for real. This is all seriousness. I'm like, yo, we got to do this once a week for like an hour and a half. I'm like, yo, I'm going to enjoy it. And so, to be honest, when we started the concept of the podcast, we would always have these conversations anyways. And we were like, yo, why don't we just kind of take it into the podcast? So what y'all see in terms of the dynamics of our relationships between the three of us right now is literally the exact same way we would have a conversation at the W Hotel over the weekend. It's no different. I promise you. I'm not putting anything extra on the jokes. They'll tell you I might even pull back a little bit on the podcast because I got people listening.
Yeah, he definitely
I may be a little bit more loose in person. But yeah, no, man. So shout out to everybody who got the positive feedback, and also shout out to the negative comments. We just gonna love the hell out of you, okay? What was it? Oh, real quick before we go and get the nugget of the day, shout out to my man Hudson Hatch, Josh's son, who was in the world tournament. I think it was 175 8-year-olds, and I believe he finished 14th. In the world, y'all. He's playing against people from Germany, Japan. I think Josh said he was in there with somebody from maybe Thailand, China. There was people kids from all over the world. And Huddy finished 14th, man. He had, bad luck on one hole. Josh was saying he went 4 over. Without that hole, he would have finished top 5. And so, man, listen, some of these kids, man, they got strength and conditioning coaches, swing coaches. Josh said he was at dinner with some kid and, with Huddy the night before, and this kid and his family. The kid left out to take a call from his sports psychologist. And so Josh was like, yo, I'm just putting the club in Huddy's hand and telling him to go get it. And so Huddy, man, just raw athletic ability, went out there, man, 14th place. And he doesn't play in these big tournaments all the time. So for his first one, man, steady Eddie, one of only 8 kids to shoot in the 30s all 3 rounds. So he didn't even have a bad round. Just killed it, man. So proud of Hudson, man. Just an incredible
Josh
kid.
Too, man. Yeah, Josh too, man. I just want to shout Josh out just for not, putting that pressure on him, man. So many parents who just over the top, man. It's just so many parents over the top. And Josh, if you're listening, I want you to know you'll be proud of me. I'm always trying to find the gaps and fill those gaps. And so since Josh been with us, Josh is real big on looking at the financial gaps. And Josh said this, and this is why hanging around people we talked about earlier, that culture you're in. And so now we're around someone who understands business. And so we're switching our business culture. But Josh told me, like, you're always talking about making money, but another part of business is saving money. So it's not always about making it, but it's looking at where you can cut costs. And so shout out to you, Josh. I would let you know that we are doing the podcast from Carl's FaceTime audio. I did not use my blowout package. I did not use the blowout package.
Mr. Blowout package.
Yeah, baby.
And we just the
Wi-Fi.
I'm like, where's E going?
I didn't blow it out. Hey, for those of you who don't know, normally when we go out the country, I will blow.
What?
I'm talking about
He using the phone
it out.
like he at the crib.
He on the prayer line for 4 hours straight on the regular cell.
In Germany.
I'm like,
in
bruh.
Germany.
In Germany. So Josh, kudos to E for not having us with a $10,000 phone bill this month.
Hey.
Although I'm sure he lost his phone and we had to order 6 different phones and cases and all
I
of
haven't done that since. I haven't done that since Hawaii. I got burnt bad. I got burnt bad in Hawaii. That hurt.
Cool, man. Good stuff. Big shout out again to our sponsors, Organifi and PayPal, man. Organifi.com, PayPal.com. Promo code SUCCESS for both of those. We want to thank our sponsors for the podcast. Also, man, September 2nd, we are in D.C. for the Stay Ready Tour. Inky, Jeremy, David, Willie, E.T., we're coming to your city. D.C., so if you're on the East Coast, be on the lookout for that, man. Can't wait for that September 2nd. E, you have an event that you wanted to talk about, the Detroit event.
I
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, same thing, Take Control, man. The Take Control entrepreneur series, man, and for real, like I said it, some of you are accomplished, but you're not free. You don't own your time, and if you own your time, you don't have the type of money that can put you in a place, to go and see the world and do the things that you dreamed of doing. We're gonna show you that. I'm talking about from the bottom, where we started 10 years ago with absolutely nothing, no resources, to right now, like C said, HBO, You know, I think Meek went platinum or Meek Mills. You know, so like, bro, we are, for real, we are out here. We gonna give you the blueprint. And we didn't start with $1 million, parents giving us $1 million to get started. We've never had a loan. We've never gotten a grant. You know, we don't have like, for real, we've never, in terms of our work, we've never had a sponsor with the Stay Ready, the greatness is upon you. We published our own books. We're gonna show you how to take your gift and take control of your life with nothing else. No, what do you call it? Network marketing, no car, no insurance. We're gonna show you how to take you and take control of your life.
Give me the date on that, E.
Oh, hey guys, the date, August 24th, Detroit, Michigan. August 24th
in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan.
Yep, etinspires.com/events. You can get the tickets for that. Also, man, the Phenomenal Life Cruise. All right, phenomenalcruise.com. If you want to come join us on the cruise, I'm excited about it. Like I said, I've never been on a cruise ship. We were in Miami. I was looking at a cruise ship while we were driving over, what is it, 95 there or whatever. I was like, whoa, that thing was looking massive. So I'm excited about going on my first ever cruise. So we would love for y'all to join us there, man. We're going to do some live studio audience podcast while we're there. We're going to have a great time, man. We're going to turn up. So we would love to join you. Go to phenomenalcruise.com. And yeah, we'll see you on the cruise in March 2018. Wow, are we already talking about 2018? Good Lord. Yeah, other than that, Carl, did I miss anything? Hey, man, well, E, get us out of here on that nugget of the day. Go leave us a review on iTunes. Guys, we thank you for your feedback. Just the positive feedback. Email me the negative feedback. We don't want that on iTunes. Just email it.
Text me the negative. Text me. Take some ownership. Don't be coming up with no ghost names. Text me. You understand
and then see me in the streets and say it to my. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell me in the streets.
Real quick, people so people who want to know, the email is info@etinspires.com, info@etinspires.com. Send us your love mail, your hate mail there. We appreciate you guys listening, man.
And I'm gonna be out on the street looking for Salmon 352. I'm looking for my man.
All right, E, get us out of here on that nugget of the day, man. I hear my kids are up, Trey running around upstairs, so let me go get him together.
Hey, y'all, do me a huge favor. Listen to me. You heard me say it before. We have never, no grants, no loans, ever, guys. Invest in yourself. All right, we have never had a loan. Nobody sent us $500 toward, this ministry. We invested in ourselves. Invest in yourself. We're over in Barbados right now doing the podcast live from the island of Barbados. We got here one way. We invest in ourselves. We didn't have a sponsor here. No airline, major airline, no hotel. Look, we invested in ourselves, and it feels so good when you invest in yourself because you know you earned it. Invest in yourself first. I'm not saying don't ever get a loan, don't ever get a sponsor. I'm not saying that. But you gotta be the first to invest in you. So invest yourself. Look, expect nothing from anyone else. If they give it to you, that's a bonus. Don't expect nothing from anyone else. Look, be willing to work for it. Be willing to work for it. Be willing to work for every single thing you get. All right, so it's your boy E.T. saying love on you, invest in you, take care of you. And if you put in 120, I guarantee you, the world is gonna give you 120 back. It's not gonna be easy, but you have what it takes. Look, if it was easy, everybody'd be in Barbados right now. If it was easy, everybody would be on top. It's not gonna be easy, but you have what it takes to get it done. So no more negativity, no more excuses. Please do us a favor. We love you. Make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Hey, man, appreciate that nugget of the day. Appreciate y'all listening. Fellas, I'll see y'all Friday, man. Safe travels. Love y'all. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul.